pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First, I'd like to have us go around the table, introduce ourselves, and we'll start with me, go around and come back to the side. Terry Bergeron, Select Board.
Tim DeMello, Select Board.
Leanne D'Alessandro, Select Board.
Thomas Godding, Select Board.
Gary McLean, Select Board.
Amber Baker, not Select Board. Budget Committee.
Good one.
Justin Merrill, Budget Committee.
Ed Walsh, Budget Committee.
Marilyn Morris, Budget
John Johnson, Highway.
Ella Frenier, Town Manager.
Jeff Radford, Budget Committee.
Esther Nolan, Budget Committee.
Thank you. Last time, a couple people said they could not hear, so we got to really speak loudly. And when you have questions or comments, please raise your hand and we'll recognize you to speak. And then, how,
You want us to do our,
want to do that first? I was going to do it after I
The
went.
Budget Committee has elected their chair and their secretary. Yes.
You want to do that now? Then? Okay. Budget Committee has to elect the chair and the secretary.
good with doing it again, Chuck?
Anybody have a nomination? Anybody make a nomination?
I'll nominate Marilyn.
Any second? Second. Motion made from Marilyn Moss, seconded. All those in favor on the Budget Committee? Secretary? Motion? Any
So
motion?
just to be clear, the secretary, what the job of the secretary on the Budget Committee is just to record the votes. And then Jill Gingras, who's our finance director, also is recording the votes, so you'll just compare them after, and then just sign her minutes so that we have the same votes recorded. So it's not too complicated, it really is just recording the votes, number in favor, number opposed, number abstained. Secretary.
Second that.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
You're lucky we didn't do it last meeting.
Well, I don't have
You
paper,
weren't
so it doesn't
here.
count.
You didn't write it on here.
Okay.
Last thing before we start, last meeting, we went through each line underneath each department. Do we want to do that this time, or we just want to start with the department and see if we have any questions or comments to the department head? Does anybody have any?
Maybe the department could just start if they had any updates, and get their finance. And then they don't have to go through the whole thing, they're gonna update and change it.
Anybody have a problem with that?
Sounds good to me.
No problem with that, then?
We start with John, where he's in there.
What's that?
Right, go by your sheet.
Oh, by your sheet.
Good enough.
John Johnson, Public Works. Anybody got any questions or comments to John? Nobody has any questions, comments, any motions from the board?
I'll motion the Public Works, $1,751,550.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor on the board? Select board.
Just the select board this time.
Select board first.
Yeah.
So,
You're in a bad spot.
Huh?
You're in a bad spot to
Yes,
speak.
yeah.
You might want to come down here, Kendra. Okay.
Gary?
What?
So we got five.
5.
5-0.
Now the budget committee.
Budget committee?
You,
Make a motion,
You want to make a motion to vote for public works on the budget committee, raise your hand.
So move for the same amount.
What?
So move for the same amount the select board did.
Thank you.
All those in favor on the budget committee?
Is there a second?
He seconded. Yeah.
Do we have a second?
I don't know.
Yeah,
She
Justin
had-
did. She motioned it, he
Please let me
seconded.
direct this. The budget committee voted,
Yes.
and everybody voted.
Did everybody vote? Show of hands, second.
Mary, who was the first and second?
You can't see, it's Justin.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Who was the first and second?
For-
Marilyn and Justin, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
capital paving. Questions? Comments? Motions?
a motion capital paving for $325,000.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor on the board? Select board, it's 5-0. Select board. Budget?
Motion. There was a motion to vote for capital payment. Raise your hand. We have first and second. Make a
Somebody has to make the motion, one of us has
Yeah.
to second.
One of you has to make a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the proposal of $325,000.
Second.
Did you get a motion made and seconded?
You just say who was first and second.
When you make the motion, can you say the name and who seconded it? So the people can hear to write it down.
Okay. Second by Esther Nolan.
Who seconded?
Ed Walsh.
Ed made the motion, she seconded.
Next, the curbside collection.
No,
We gotta vote on it.
We didn't
Oh,
vote.
wait.
They didn't.
Okay, let's vote on it.
All in favor?
But no, I'm sorry. I'm waiting for what to vote, right? And then we're going on.
Oh, no, is it budget committee right now?
This is budget committee.
Okay, budget, yes, I'm in favor.
Okay, you want to show of hands again? Okay,
7.
first of all,
Just want to show hands.
Okay.
Did you get 7? Thank you, John.
Oh, they're curbside.
Yeah, I guess so the curbside.
Don't hurry me, Mary, I gotta go back on my roof.
Next is curbside collection.
Make a motion to accept the proposed budget of $145,600.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor on the select board?
no, not the budget.
This is too much.
5-0.
Too funny.
Okay, budget committee. Capital payment. I'm sorry.
To make a motion, that we accept the proposal of $145,600 capital payment.
Curbside.
Curbside.
Let's vote.
Seconded.
No. Did you
He
second?
made the motion.
Yes.
And you said, he's, okay.
Okay, so we voted 5. I didn't see the.
Yeah, I saw them down there.
Yeah.
Next is the police department. Any questions or comments on the police department?
Thank you, John.
Any questions, comments? Motions?
A motion, the police department for $841,929.
Second.
Motion made and seconded.
Dr. Nolan, second.
No, just the
He
board,
is
select
second.
I'll catch up in a few minutes.
board. Motion made and seconded on the select board. All those in favor? Aye.
Budget committee? Motion made.
I'll make a motion, 841,929.
I second, Kendra.
Justin.
Vote.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard.
Next is the fire department. Now, I think everybody's got the revised, not revised, but another option than what we discussed before. Mike, you want to go through that?
The whole thing is just what the plan is. So the second proposal I did was to have per diem coverage at the station 5 days a week. That's from 8 to 4 p.m. The difference would be, I believe it's 30,000. The difference would be $37,039.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
Yes, raise your hand, please, that's all.
Sorry.
Yep, go ahead.
I apologize, I wasn't at the first meeting, but, so I was a little confused about, we're paying a salary for, a gentleman that is doing both Jay and Livermore Falls? Yes?
Yes, that's what, yeah, I guess, yeah, that's
Okay.
probably me.
Yep.
I'm also the fire chief of the Wolf
Right, so if he's, obviously if he's at one station doing something, he can't be at the other station, right?
Right.
So I'm confused about what the payment is, like, it doesn't make sense to me. Can that be explained?
This has nothing to do with that. This, a year and a half ago, the select board allowed us to have 2 people on call, basically from 6:30 in the morning to 4:30 at night. That went well for about 8 months, and then jobs changing and everything else, we couldn't fill those positions. So I gave up one of my jobs and took on that responsibility of being, when I'm not at my full-time job, I'm taking up about approximately 170 work days to be on call with the other person. But since I've started this, more jobs have changed, and there's about 2 or 3 people that can help out once in a while. So it's just myself on duty during the day. So what I'm asking for is per diem, which would be, there'd be someone at the fire station Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, along with myself when I'm not in that time. So they'd be able to do like truck checks, station maintenance, stuff that we can't get other people to do because of lack of people. Basically, that's what that's taking care of.
Yeah, no, I understand that part. I guess mine was something that should have been asked at the last meeting, but Jay is paying a portion of somebody that's covering both stations, and then Livermore Falls is paying a portion. But,
This is totally separate, two separate. That's my part-time job.
Oh,
and
okay.
it's totally different. It's
Okay.
not, it's nothing together.
okay, all right, that's what I was confused about. All right, thank you.
Hopefully in the future, maybe it's a possibility, but right now it's completely separate.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes.
Is this for both stations and one in North J, one in J? Somebody's done.
This is, it will be based out of North J, just because that's our main station. We have bathrooms, we have TVs, we have a place where we can cook. But basically, each day you would have a station, a truck that you would have to check. So regardless, you can start in North J and go to Station 2, but it's for both, it's only one person that will bounce between both stations.
Uh-huh.
It wouldn't be one at each station.
Any other questions or comments? Yes.
Are you still taking your rate at $16 an hour for the per diem?
Honestly, it's low.
I did look, yeah.
It is low.
And I was wondering if you were looking at more 17 to 18, because I don't know how you can.
See, one thing our normal pay scale, like we have a base, it's just a little bit more than minimum wage, and then we give incentives to take trainings. Like if you're firefighter 1, firefighter 2, you get 50 cents. If you have EVOC, pumps and stuff like that, you get a raise basically. So then, something we discussed last time was maybe starting at the 16 and then give them some incentive if they are higher trained. But when we can start higher. That was just a number on average of what the area people that have per diem programs going, that's about the average.
I have another question. One of the big issues that you mentioned last time is the lack of availability to pull from to get people interested in the job. So if we're just going to the minimum of 16 like everybody else, how are we going to draw somebody to us?
It's a very good point.
Why not draw them in, and then you can look at giving them a raise based on whatever schedule for retention. Everybody knows it takes a lot to rehire to consider for retention. And I think $16 is too low to get anybody to look.
You're probably correct. And there's not a lot of people out there that want to do this. It would be nice if I could raise that up, but like I said, I'm trying to keep it affordable for everybody.
The other thing,
Yeah.
may I comment again? The other thing I think that you've done very nicely is you put it in a per diem instead of a paid position for 40 hours. So you have saved the town a lot of money by doing that.
So I mean, if you put a full-time person in there, you're going to double that.
Right, so to me, you just consider part of those benefit package that you're not paying. I highly recommend that we come up with a better starting point.
Any other questions? Yes, Tim?
Just a comment on the per diem, if I understand that, we're not really hiring one individual person for that position. That will be filled by
Numerous people.
who have a day or 2 days to give one week or not. A little different than if we were hiring, I think, to fill a position full-time.
Any other questions, comments?
I'm sorry, I understood what you were saying, but were you saying that that's why you're in favor of the lesser amount? Because it's going to be multiple people?
It'll be multiple people, it's not like it's a job for one person. Yeah.
That's what, so you're in favor of staying at 16, that's what I was trying
I
to
think we have to start at a number that's affordable to start with and see what sort of attraction we get going forward.
I agree with Tim.
I have another comment. I just took a little survey of some of the local companies that do fire insurance. And some of the things that you mentioned last time about the person that's there has to call in all the volunteers and get people there. The cost of the insurance, if we don't have adequate fire protection, for the town people, is going to be prohibitive. So I think when we look at how much we're going to spend this, we need to look at how much it's going to cost for people in the town if they have the insurance rates low. And it was significant.
Anybody else got any questions or comments? Motion?
Make a motion, we accept the proposed budget of $339,000 for the fire department.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor on the board, Selectboard? 5.
Thank you.
Budget Committee?
I'll make a motion, Ed Walsh for, fire department, $301,000. Let me try that again. $301,139.
Second. Justin.
Vote.
All of, you got a,
Six.
you have one opposed, maybe?
I'm opposed. 6
You
to
can
0.
raise your hand.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm opposed.
opposed.
1.
5 to 2.
5 to 2, right?
Yeah.
Oh, who opposed?
You were opposed. Yeah, 5 to 2.
Okay, so it's 4 5. So the motion be carried is for what amount?
300 and whatever.
1,000?
301,139, just Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Next, Rhonda Farmer, Town Government. Rhonda, Town Government. Anybody have any questions or comments to Rhonda? Please, one voice.
You still need like?
No, you can ask questions.
But I understood what some of the town, what some of the collecting the other day, is that you were thinking about replacing the generator. Is that what the capital reserve is for? And I didn't get it
We
down.
have replaced it, but we saved for it for another time. Of all those things that we got, we purchased a copier in 2020. The computers are pretty much ongoing. The server's been a while. The phone system, we've got somebody coming to talk to us about the phone system soon. We've been looking at getting some sort of new heating system, but the generator we just replaced last year.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Motions?
Motion town government for $511,575.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Select board, in favor? 5-0.
I make a motion to approve the $511,575 budget.
Ed seconds it.
Kendra, sorry.
Okay. Vote. 4.
Next, general assistance. Any questions or comments? We're on this one? Yes.
I have another question. When I look at the reserves, it doesn't show the cumulative reserve. So if you propose to do that, I don't know how much you spent, but what happens, does it carry over?
We don't carry over, but we are allowed to spend more than we have in there in this line. If people come in, we do run out, you are allowed to go over. I don't believe we ever have. We do get reimbursed at 70%, so basically we can spend up to $8,000. This year so far, I think I spent 700 and something,
Okay.
and I'll get reimbursed at that at 70%, so the balance is still good.
So it's not cumulative, and then you just submit it to the town so that they have a reconciliation of what was spent and what was reimbursed.
Well, it does, it comes out of the town, like if somebody comes in and needs oil, the town cuts a check
to whoever delivered the oil. Then I submit a report at the end of the month to the state, and the state reimburses us 70% of that amount. And then we put that money right back to loan.
Okay, I just think that, to me, I didn't understand, there wasn't enough information here in your general assistance proposal and explanation to understand what happens with money, what percentage you're allowed to go over,
Yeah,
you know, what the guidelines are, and I couldn't look them up when I tried to look them up on the website.
yeah.
And whether that was,
Yeah, we help with basic necessities. If people come in, we have guidelines, the state issues guidelines for amount of money that can be spent for certain items. And then if it's an emergency, you're allowed to exceed those guidelines, but it's for basic necessities. And then when somebody applies more than one time, they have to show you their receipts of what they've spent their income on.
I have one more question, I'm sorry. Is this really up? That person also is an assessor and overseer of the board. Did that come into this general assistance program, or is that separate?
They are actually the overseers of the board. I'm the agent that does the work for them. But they sign off on the warrants that pay the money, but,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
So you said that there's only been about 700 spent. Why the $2,500?
Well, I looked it up, and a few years ago, we did spend that much since COVID hit. We've really, general assistance has really gone down. But I did look, we used to raise $3,500, and a few years ago, we did almost spend, you know, with the 70%, that amount. I'm expecting it to go up, but you never know. I never thought with this cold snap and oil prices the way they are, that I would perhaps see more people.
Yeah.
But I did help pay for 2 oils this month, and the CAF agency, I think, is picking up a lot of the slack.
Yeah.
But at some point, and, you know, people get child credit, and, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of people got the, you know, the money that the federal government gave last year. So, like I said, since COVID hit, general assistance has really dropped, but at any time, I'm expecting that to change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Motion from the board?
Make a motion to accept the proposed budget for the general assistance funds for $2,500.
Second.
Motion made and seconded on the board. Vote, Fuller?
Budget committee,
Motion to propose $2,500 for general assistance.
second. Go ahead. Vote.
Thank you, Rhonda. Tammy's not here, so we'll go right to the,
I think Mark's not here yet either, sorry.
oh, Mac is coming?
Yes, he is coming, but he's not here yet, so if you want to skip to my stuff, we can go.
Yeah, we can go right to professional services. Any question to Shiloh on professional services? No questions? Motion?
Make a motion for $169,420 on professional services.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor on the select board?
Budget committee. Make a motion that we accept the professional services.
I second it, Pembroke.
And vote.
Next is insurance. Any questions on insurance? Motions?
Make a motion to accept the proposed budget for insurance of $136,000.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor on the select board?
Budget committee, make a motion.
Motion to accept the insurance at $136,000, is that correct?
Ed seconds it.
Vote.
Next is ambulance service. Questions, comments? Motion for the select board?
A motion 40,000 for the ambulance service.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor on the select board?
Ambulance service, motion.
Ed seconds it.
Vote.
Next, hydrants and streetlights. Questions? Motions?
Make a motion to accept the proposed budget for hydrant streetlights for $340,750.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Budget committee, hydrants and streetlights. Anyone make a motion? Second? I'll second. Vote.
You get the, who made the motion and who seconded it?
I made the motion, Darrell seconded.
Revenue? Questions, comments? Motion?
Make a motion to accept the revenue budget of $2,363,800.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Motion to accept the revenues. Second.
Second.
Vote.
Next, snowmobile club. Questions? Motion?
Make a motion to accept the snowmobile revenue budget of $2,000.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Let's see. Anyone make a motion?
I'll second it.
Vote.
Next, ATV club. Questions, comments? Motion?
Make a motion to accept the ATV revenue past $450.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Budget committee. Anyone make a motion?
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Second. Okay, for finance, second. Vote.
Who made the motion and seconded?
Justin and Kendra.
Channel 7. Questions, comments? Motion?
Make a motion, accept the proposed budget of $12,000. Channel
Second.
7.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Make a motion for $12,000 for Section 8 meeting warrants.
Second.
Vote.
6-0. 6-1.
Everybody get the vote?
Yeah.
Did you get the vote?
I voted.
Yeah, I didn't know if she got it. Next, we'll go back to J. Niles Library. Can you see us? We'll go back to that one. You're up there. Anybody got any questions or comments on the J. Niles Memorial Library? No questions or comments? Motion? What?
Maybe a dumb question, but why do people oil so hard on that thing that's going to start time?
Having a little bit of a hard time here.
You gotta speak up.
It's part of my hair.
Oh, the heating oil, he wants to know, why it's $8,000 for the heating oil.
We have a very, very old heating system, and it doesn't run efficiently, and it's a large building, it's about 5,000 square feet. You know, it's either, you know, we spend the money on the heating oil, or we have to replace boilers that are around 40 years old. So that's essentially.
Yes.
Have you checked into replacing the boilers? You've got one boiler for the whole building?
We have two boilers.
You have two boilers?
Yep. Yeah, and we talked to some people about, we talked to Warren and folks at ABC about replacing them, and off the top of my head, I can't remember what, you know, the cost would be, but I would basically probably I wouldn't want to guess. You know, it's.
Well, the cost is going to be up there.
I mean, I think it's at least probably 40,000 for one.
For one?
Replace both. Looking at the house.
Are the, Kendra, I'm sorry, are the repairs, what is the 5,000 for the repairs? What's that gonna go towards?
Yeah, that's literally anything that happens on the building.
Okay, so nothing planned as a repair?
Right,
just-
exactly.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Have you looked into any other heating systems?
We have, and I've actually even looked at solar panels, heat pumps, but, you know, still similar cost. We, at one point, had finished with something, like a pellet burner, but that's, of course, something that you're particularly having to have fed into. So, we looked, and I think, you know, at some point, we have had, people have to see whether they thought the boilers, you know, whether they last a little longer or not.
Right.
And they said because different parts have been replaced, they still maybe may have another 10 years or
I will,
so.
for both of them, and have used. That you put in the budget for savings.
I'm sorry.
We can't hear.
No, I'm sorry. You know, you might want to consider fitting into the budget a replacement cost. But, yeah.
Any other questions?
I have a question, Esther Nolan. I have a question, when I look at your janitorial services, it comes out to about $67 a week. And with the price of now, I mean, well, it's going up, and the other sanitation thing you have to do now for the gateway? How are you doing that for $67 a year?
Essentially, at this time, I'm doing everything myself. So after I'm done my day, I just kind of fit it in and do it as best as I, possibly can. There are probably better, ways to do it. We're just trying to keep costs down, so.
So you feel that fanatic put it on for you to ask for it still?
I think so. I think for now, yeah.
Any other questions? Motion?
Motion, J. Niles Memorial Library for $181,600.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
I'll second it.
Okay, vote.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good one.
So Mark's here, he's just getting in, so we can give him
Oh,
a
he
minute,
is?
or we can do it, go with Deb next. What do you like?
Go with Deb.
Yeah, let's go with Deb. Mark's late, isn't
My assistant as well.
he? Yeah.
He's holding on. Like his civics class.
Anybody got any questions or comments to Deb on the proposal for the Holland Strong Tennis Court project? Town can vote on it.
So what I gave you, new on your table is the one that says draft article for April 26th town meeting, Holland Strong Tennis Court project. And that's the article that if the board and the budget committee, if the board proposes it for the town meeting, that's the article that will be on the town meeting warrant. On the second page is just a budget summary, kind of where Deb has so far looked at donations and where those are coming from. And then that was on the back of the clerk, sorry. And then the second page is the letter that was originally sent to the select board requesting the town meeting. So it's kind of just gives you an overview of it, that can go through what the project is. Sure.
So the tennis courts at the elementary school over here have not been used for at least 10 years. My husband and I were discussing today how long they did that, and our memories are different, but I think it's been at least 10 years. So we've been working under the Holland Strong Foundation to write grants to renovate those tennis courts and actually expand them because they were 2 courts when they were usable, and really to be used for any type of competition. They need to be 3 courts. So we have state approved tentative funding from the Land and Water Conservation Grant funds, which originally were used to put the courts in back in the 70s. So we have received state approval, and last week we got word that the national level has opened up for the next cycle, so it has now been submitted as of last week to the national level. So by early to midsummer, we should be back to them and have a project budget, and then we will be able to move ahead and officially start seeking bids from vendors and really committing in for cash contributions, in-kind contributions, and that type of thing. So the total projected cost of the project is $413,000. The grant from Land and Water Conservation would cover half of that cost at about $205,000. And then you can see the various folks that have worked hard getting us to this point. Canograph Surveying's done some work. Fred Boone has done significant hours of architectural drawings for us. Holland Strong has paid for some. We've had some trees removed a couple of summers ago. And then Holland Strong has raised about $38,000 with Summerfest and donations for the project. So what we're asking from the town of Jay is to offer up labor instead of funds by allowing the highway department to use a truck for help trucking when they're doing the earthwork and moving the old earth that's there and then bringing in new soil. And then also when you get to go ahead to actually remove the those eyesore lights that have been there because we can't do anything more until we get the grant funds. So that's what I'm asking for today from the town of Jay, is to put it out to the voters and ask them if they're willing to offer in-kind labor to the highway department up to $9,000 to help fund this $413,000 project for the kids of our community. Jay lives in one of the months.
Anybody got any questions? Yes.
I'm sorry about your loss of your son.
Thank you.
Thank you for his service, and I know it affects the whole family when one member's in.
Thank
And
you.
we're very aware of how it should be. But I just wanted to know if there was any repurposing when the existing fencing, is it going to go back up or is it going to be replaced?
The fencing has been removed
Just remove
already.
it?
Right, that has been removed. And the lights, the old light poles, I think are going to go to John Cronin because he did that as part of his agreement to remove the trees and all that. So the asphalt, I think they'll reclaim, I don't know what they call it, reclaim the asphalt. And then other than that, it's just.
Okay. Is this your first project?
This is the first phase. We have a big vision of actually over time, hopefully in my lifetime, renovating all of the athletic fields, Sportswood Mountain. We wanted to start with the tennis courts because it's a lifelong sport. They've not been usable for so long. The high school tennis team has to go pay up at Hiawatha Park in Wilton, using tax dollars to be able to play tennis. And it's very visible to Route 4, so we thought it was the best place to start, to gain support and gain momentum from the community and the greater community beyond us, and allow for adults to be able to use it, kids to use it for phys ed, adult education classes, the area youth sports. So we're really looking at it as being used by all community members, 9 to however old you're comfortable to play sports, play tennis.
Okay, so what you're saying, you've done a feasibility study. Do you think the demographics warrant that it be used enough in this time? I mean, I don't know the town enough of tennis is a popular sport. Is it competitive sport in the town? I don't know. How did you determine that that would be the best use of funds?
So
I know your fund was athletic, I read that.
Right. So the tennis teams have been active for many, many years. They're still active. Like I said, they just have to go up to Hiawatha Park and Wilton to play because they can't play here. And it was used in, phys ed when they could. It was very active when they were available to be used. My son would play at night with his girlfriend. The lights would be on and you'd go by in the summer and you'd see people using it. And when we rolled the grant application, I received almost a dozen letters from various organizations and various private citizens who wanted to see the tennis courts come back because they're very interested in playing tennis and really miss the tennis courts. So I think this community has shown that they really would like and would take advantage and use these tennis courts if they were renovated.
Thank you. Thank you for your personal input.
You're welcome.
Anybody else got any questions? Motion?
Motion is to put the Holland Strong Tennis Court project on the ballot for April 26th town meeting.
At the very bottom of the article, it says Selectboard recommends, so
Yep.
I'm assuming your motion to put it on, that you're recommending that.
Yes.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor on the select board?
5-0.
I'll make a motion that this, select board of vote.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate what you're
Thank you.
doing. Mr. Mark is here, so Mark, you can step right up. Mark, Holt Sewer Department. Any questions, comments to Mark? On the sewer, I know before any questions was going to be sent in. We didn't know if he was going to make it.
Is there does the sewer department know where the lines are in town?
The mains in the street, for the most part, yes, I'd say 99% of them, we know where they are. And all our easements as well. With that being said, every now and then, we still find a new manhole cover somewhere.
Yeah.
That's been paved over or it's on private property with an easement or something like that. But for the most part, yes, we know where all of them are at this point, yes.
Is there, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Is there anything in the town office that had like an map of the?
The town office does not, but the sewer department does. That information is kept at the North J plant, or the North J pump station now where the treatment plant used to be. Yep.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one, Kendra. Mark, the professional services, I see that they went down and now they've gone back up. They went down from 2020 went up a little bit, and 21-22, and now you're proposing an increase again?
Yep, the professional services, the biggest ticket in that is the Falls treatment plant. We pay our share based on the flow that town J sends to Livermore Falls. This year it's up a little bit because we're looking to add a position down there possibly. Livermore Falls has to approve it through their budget process as well. We have combined the sewer superintendent's position between the two towns, so my position is now a shared position. It's about 7 or 8 months into it. It seems to be going fairly smoothly. A few little wrinkles here and there that we're ironing out, but I think overall it's going better than I hoped it would. But we're a little short on staff at the Livermore Falls plant because the person who used to be the superintendent there did operator work, and we don't have that now. So we're trying to staff that appropriately down there.
Okay.
So that's one reason why the professional services went up this year, increased cost of Livermore Falls.
Any other questions or comments? No. Motion?
Make a motion to accept the sewer department budget for $513,900.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Budget committee, we want to make a motion. Want to second it? Vote.
Debt service?
Yep. The sewer department this year, we have the Route 4 project, Phase 2, which was from Pino Street to Tweedy Street. That was completed in 2016, I believe. And then the North J pump station conversion, where we shut down the treatment plant, turned it into a pump station up there, and pumping everything to Livermore Falls via the rail trail now, for the most part. So those two added together come to the 207,789.
Any questions?
Motion.
What?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Joe.
Is there a sewer project where it should be? Like you say too, and then you got to dig and all that stuff.
Yes, yes. Yep, everything is good. That project is all done, the North J project. The project that's going on right now is the treatment plant with more falls. We're only about 12% of the way through that, so that's in its infancy.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Motion?
Make a motion to accept the debt service budget of $207,789.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor? Thank you.
On the debt service.
I'll make a motion to accept it as proposed, 207,789.
Vote.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
We'll do summer rec next.
So we haven't had summer rec for 2 years for the obvious reasons, but I'm hopeful that we're gonna have it this year. The kids need it. And other than the increase in minimum wage, I'd say we leave it the way it has been in the past and hope that we can still run it the way it has been.
Anybody got any questions? No questions, any motions?
Make a motion for summer rec for $13,000.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all those in favor? Thank you.
Sewer recreation, just need to make a motion to accept.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. Vote.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Donations. Take each one underneath donations. This one is J Historical. Don't know if we have anybody here from J Historical.
I don't, he may be coming later, so.
Okay, we'll come back to that one.
Because I had told him 6, so he may not be here yet.
Come back to that. Spruce Mountain Insurance.
I think they can do it.
Spruce Mountain Insurance. Yeah. Anybody got any questions of these people on the request?
Which one is it? There's 2 Spruce Mountains in here. Which one are we looking at?
12,157
The insurance portion.
insurance line. It's on the donation list.
Under donations, it's the second one, 12,157 this year.
Oh, 12,157.
Yep. Anybody got any questions?
Curious, so you're asking for 50% of insurance, and, a number of towns use it. Are the other towns chip it in to help pay for the insurance?
Yeah, based on the population of the 3 towns divided accordingly.
Okay. How many people use the mountain these days?
A few more now.
Yeah, this year we have, last year we had 77 season pass holders. This year we have 131. And our daily pass sales are up just about 30% this year over last year.
Excellent.
Last year we had close to 600 day pass sales over the course of the season.
Anybody else got any questions? Motion?
A motion to Spruce Mountain Insurance of $12,157.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, all those in favor?
Budget committee, do you want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the 12,157 for their insurance.
Second. Okay. Motion made and seconded. Vote.
There you go.
I'll skip down ones, these people are here. The Spruce Mountain Ski Club. Any questions on that? It's right under donations, there's 2 lines below the Spruce Mountain Insurance. $500. Any questions? Motion?
Make a motion to accept the budget of $500 for the Spruce Mountain Ski Club.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
vote.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
Back to July 4th fireworks, $2,275.
I'll make a motion for the July 4th fireworks, $2,275.
Second.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
No, it was 4.
It's 4.
Yeah.
4 in the,
Against or abstaining. You have to ask, I think.
How many, I'm sorry? I was
How many more? Let's do this again. How many in favor? How many opposed?
There we are.
Budget committee, make a motion, vote. Did we have a second? Who seconded? Oh, I'm sorry, did we all second? Vote. Who's gonna vote? Who was that? And who? Yeah. Do we have opposed?
yeah, 1.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
6 to 1.
Next, Tri-Town Food Bank. They're not really asking anything for this year. They just want to be kept on the list, which is very nice of them to not put in amount of money for the second year. Next is North J Grange.
Okay, I'll catch my breath. Somebody was not able to be here tonight, it's not that important. May I recuse myself if I could speak for the North Bay Range? Is that okay?
Yep.
Anyone stand up if I can? North Bay Range, you have that in your bookwork here. With the COVID for the past 2 years, we have not been having any suppers, so there is no income there. For the past 2 summers, I should say, spring to fall, we've been having food sales, clothing sales, household goods, and we've been doing pretty good on that. We're not sure what we're going to do this year, if we're going to go back to public suppers or continue with what we're doing. We have a nice letter there. We do donate blankets and throws to a couple of the nursing homes, new and good use clothing to nursing homes, to people in need, individuals in need. We've done some repairs this year. And we'll continue to have our indoor-outdoor sales. I have that in news. So if any of you know of anybody that's in need, or if they contact the town office, you could please give them my telephone number. And if we have items there for them, we can donate it to them. We've given away blankets to needy people or people in need. And like I said, Afghans, this winter, fall, winter, summer, we've been giving individuals clothing. All we have to do is call one of us. You've got my number there. The town office has my number. And we see what we have for individuals for clothing. We've given winter coats, shoes, boots to individuals. Anybody have any questions? And if anybody wants a walkthrough or a tour of the range, just let us know. We'll be opening up again probably in April or the 1st of May. So So you all have my numbers, I have my telephone number here if you would like it. Please vote, put us on the ballot, and so people in the town can vote for us. No questions?
Anybody got any questions or comments?
If you have a question?
Just saying the meals are so often that everybody,
Oh, yes, yeah. I don't know if we'll do the meals again this year or not, but we do have food sales and possibly we've been selling lunch foods. So, thank you very much. We hope to, so we're there for anybody that needs us.
Any other questions or comments? Motion?
Make a motion for $675 for the North grade.
Yeah.
Motion made, seconded. All those in favor?
Thank you. Budget committee, all those in favor of nominal range? And I'll recuse myself.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Over vote?
Have a vote? Thank you.
AYS Insurance?
So, sorry if I'm a little unprepared for this, I found out about this meeting at 1 o'clock.
Only had time to prepare then.
Plenty of time to prepare this morning. Some of you guys know me, my name is Josh, I'm the owner of Manny San Larson here in Jay, but I'm on the board of directors for Area Youth Sports. We ask every year for help with our insurance, and we hope that you guys can accommodate that again this year. We also are looking for help with heat. I know that this is a request we've asked throughout the past years, hasn't been approved, but these last couple of years have been hard with COVID. And as some of you guys know me, I'm very active with the program. It's all about the kids for us. It's all about the kids for me and the board. And these last couple of years, we have done everything we can to keep our doors open with the pandemic going on. And it's cost us a lot of money, some out of pocket, other from some people. And then on top of it, we didn't have as much coming in because we can't do fundraising. We couldn't do concessions that we used to be able to do. So our goal is to keep this program alive for these kids, because in some ways, that's all these kids have in some situations. I'd like to see if we can get a request for the insurance, which is $2,750, and then an additional $2,500 for heat to help us through this winter, to keep us alive, keep us going.
Anybody else got any questions? Yes, Gary.
What's the insurance for?
It's for the building, for the kids. The kids is the most thing because we have insurance for each kid. Liability, there's a bunch of different things. I couldn't give you an exact answer of everything, but it's clumped into a lot of different things. But Livermore Falls kicks in and Livermore kicks in for it. And I think you guys have petitioned the last couple of years as well.
Any other questions?
When we're voting, are we voting on it all together, or?
It depends on the motion that comes up.
Okay.
Anybody else got any questions?
I have a question. How do you get charged for your heat per hour or per day that you use the gym or not?
For the heat?
Yeah, because you're in here climbing the wall, heat the building during the winter months.
Yes, ma'am. So last year, it cost us, I think it was 30, which is ridiculous. It was $31,909 it cost us for the heat for that building. And so what we were trying to just get some help with it to put some oil in the tank. We still do a lot of fundraising, concessions, things like that, signups. That's how we're just trying to get some assistance in it. There's no actual true calculation. of, if we did that, a large amount.
There's no actual calculation, you're just estimating the amount you'd like to contribute?
Yes, we're just asking for anything. That's really what we're doing. We're just trying to ask for any type of help we can get with the heat in that building. Which, I know that building is kind of a touchy subject in some ways, but just that this year we would not be allowed to do any basketball whatsoever if we didn't have that building, because we're not allowed into any of the schools. And the same last year, we weren't allowed into any of the schools because of everything going on. So that kind of reiterates on our case of trying to get some type of help with this, because it's an expense. It's a very big expense.
Are all students invited to participate, or if they don't have their registration fees, they're not allowed, or do you vote them?
So every kid is able to play. I have personally paid for kids to play. We have, as a board, have all pitched in money to pay for kids that couldn't pay to play. We leave no kid behind when it comes to it. That's our dedication to it. Because, like I said earlier, it's my true belief is that this program, the AYS program, it's all these kids have. Some of these kids, it's all they have. It's to get them out of very bad situations. Not to put something dark on it, but that's true. It's some kids, this is all they have. And I know I've personally seen kids throughout sports who have really crappy home runs. I know one right now, and he's doing very well because he's a 3 sports kid. And that's the only thing that's keeping him off the streets, basically. So I have a true passion for it.
What age group do you concentrate on?
We go all the way from 2 years old, or from pre-K all the way up to 7th, 8th grade. Yes, we're a very large program. We would love to get more high schoolers involved. So I'm the commissioner for football and soon to be baseball as well. But my goal is to even get more high schoolers involved as volunteers. I personally reached out to high schoolers for the basketball teams, and they've come and helped actually officiate some games. I've had some of the high schoolers come to practices for baseball to basically give back to the program because it's a community thing. It's truly a community thing.
Any other questions or comments? Motion? I'll make a motion to go with AYS insurance for $2,750.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor? No.
I'm curious though, but you were asking for an additional 2,500, right?
Yes, sir, for a couple of people.
Do you want to have the board discuss that?
That was, the motion was $2,750.
Are you doing it in 2 separate motions, because the request was 52? No. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not.
No.
But your motion is to just include the insurance? Is that what
Just the
you're saying?
AYS insurance. Yes. Which was 500. It's up to you.
Can I make a motion to support the 5,250 that disagrees with the selectmen?
Not to us, you can't.
So,
Your vote is going to be how many you can go against it. And that's what will go on when you vote at the town meeting.
so the warrant, the ballot is the select board's warrant. So the select board makes the motion of what they want on the warrant, and then the budget committee is making a recommendation to the voters on what the select board has proposed. So where the motion is for the AYS insurance for $2,750, you can make a motion to support that, recommend yes, or to recommend no on that motion. If the select board then makes a motion on the heat, you can make a recommendation on that. If the board doesn't make a motion on the heat, then there's nothing for the budget committee to recommend based on.
Okay, so I'll just say this correctly. There a motion made to accept the 27.
I'll make a motion to support the 2,700 proposal.
You already voted?
Is there a second? Vote on the 4. Did you have opposed to? Did you have opposed? No, I didn't oppose.
Yes, Gary?
We concluded with the voting on this article. I'd like to make a motion to support $2,500 for the AYS fuel.
Motion made. No second, motion dies. Do we want to discuss how, if we want to take some of these?
Gonna do J historical.
There was no second, so the motion doesn't move forward.
J historical.
Good thing out here. J historical, questions, comments, motion?
Right there.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, right here.
What? Yeah, but does anybody have any questions to it?
Okay, sorry.
No questions, motion?
No, there's questions.
I was just wondering what the increase was.
Somebody have a question, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got a question. You got a request for $1,000. I don't have the sheet here in front of me, but I'm trying to find it. But you have a bank account over $100,000. And I'm curious as to why you asked the taxpayers for $1,000 bonus with such a large savings account.
Well, we did get 765, which was appreciated.
You speak up.
Prices of the meat going up, and we were asking for $1,000 this year. We're struggling a little bit, get membership, and keep things going. We spend about $3,000 a year for expenses, insurance, we have to pay utilities, and we haven't done well as far as having something to raise money due to the virus that's been going on. So, look again, so
His question was, you have 100,000 up in the bank account, so he was questioning why you were $100,000.
well, that's what we're drawing on now. We need money. And we'd like to get to the situation where we could meet our expenses and keep that available for whatever we need, whatever. We do have some up and going, we do have some things we need to get done this year. We acquired quite a couple of nice items. One of them was the old J High School granite stone that they had on the front. Got that up there, we got it placed in front of the building. And we received the donation of critical lead, old ice cutting machines. They used to cut ice with it and deliver it to the people probably in very body. So we've got some interesting things going. Hopefully we can do it.
Anybody else have any other questions? Yes.
Yeah, I do. Of the 115,000 you have cash available, is some of that targeted already for projects, current projects going?
Money that you have in the bank right now, is it targeted for specific projects that you have coming?
No. Thank you.
We just draw off in it whenever we need it, pay off bills or whatever.
Thank you.
And, you know, hopefully it'll last long enough to keep things going.
Any other questions? Motions?
I'll make a motion to fund the Jay Historical Society at the same amount as last year of $750.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, go with the $750 from last year. All those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you.
On the budget committee, in favor of the 750 for the Historical Society.
I'll make the motion, 750 for Historical Society.
Second. Second. Cheryl, second. Okay, vote. We have a vote. I'm going to vote yes. 2 vote yes. And then opposed. Opposed. Opposed, yes, right. 2 for or opposed. 7, no. 2 voted for, you voted for the Historical Society. I voted for the Historical Society. So then how many opposed? 4 or 5? 5 opposed.
So you have to say
Yeah,
opposed.
you have to
But
say
some may
opposed.
abstain. So how many?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4 abstain.
No, no.
No.
You have to ask.
You have to ask.
Abstain, still voting.
Who's opposed?
Oh, you did, okay, sorry, okay. Who's opposed? Abstain. Thank you.
All set. Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to go through the tower fund now?
Are you here for the fireworks?
Yes.
Oh, you didn't. They're here for the fireworks. They already voted on it. Thank you. Have questions? Anybody have questions on the fireworks? Chamber representatives.
You're all set.
You're all set.
You want to go through the tower fund?
Okay. So, the other item I put out at your seat. Is the other one that's a draft article for April 26th town meeting power fund reserve account. So just a little bit of background. This account was set up, I think around 2001 when we got the tower rental, the cell tower that's up on the rec area. And so the cell tower revenue has been going into the account. And then when that rec area was timber harvested, that money also went into that account. Then it's set up for recreational use, so if the board has a request for a recreational use donation, they can consider it out of that. Typically, it funds the rec league, the guys that take care of the trails down at French Falls or up in the rec area, those type of projects. Some of the stuff that happens at French Falls during the summer, the gardens, the flower gardens, that type of thing, is funded from that usually. We funded a snowmobile at the Spruce Mountain Spruce Mountain Ski Slope before.
It's quite a bit in there.
Trying to come up with what else. Those type of items or requests that come to the board. So we're looking at harvesting that property again. The forester is working on marking it now, so it'll be probably the next year. And we were advised that in order to put that money into the account, to have a dedicated revenue, that authorizing that. So this is that article. So if the board wants to make a recommendation on that, the budget committee wants to, this is before you.
Any questions? Yes, Gary.
Without the article being on the warrant, the funds that are raised through the harvesting of the wood products would go into the general fund, is that correct? Doesn't necessarily have to be designated for this unless it's on an article, right?
Unless what?
It has to be on an article for it to be designated for this specific purpose. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Motion?
I'll motion to approve the draft article for the April 26th town meeting regarding to monies from the tower lease and from the recreation wood harvesting parcel.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor? Any opposed? We want to discuss some of these donations and where to take them from, or?
That wasn't happening.
The ARPA, do you want to?
Yep, so the ARPA, American Rescue Plan Act money, I just wanted to touch on it real quick, because the board discussed this at their meeting the other night. The town's receiving a total of, I have that in we've received $244,500 right now is how much we have in our reserve account, and we're expecting another $244,000 next year. So those ARPA funds are the money that's coming from the federal government to the towns. You've probably seen them in different articles of what different communities are doing with them. So the board discussed the process for allocating those monies at their last meeting, and they'd like to have the budget committee involved in those discussions. So right now, we're putting together a list of possible projects that it could go to fund. That'll be given to the board, and it'll be on one of their select board meetings to start reviewing that. So I just wanted to let you all know that you're going to be getting messages about those meetings when they are, and if you're available to attend, they'd like to have you participate in that. So just kind of wanted to touch on that too. That's all I've got.
We thank everybody for showing up. Appreciate you volunteering.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?